Hello and welcome to the latest Progress Wrestling Hype Show. I'm Jonas from the Wrestling with Jonas podcast, joined as always by my good friends, my podcast colleague, ring announcer extraordinaire, the man behind the scenes, Mike Mad Dog Angus. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Absolutely brilliant as always, Jonas. Absolute pleasure to join you today and speak about Warriors Come Out to Play that we cannot wait for on Sunday, August 28th. Looking forward to it. Not long to go now. And also to let all our fans and friends know about what happened at Copperhead and Cottonmouth for the first two legs of the Deadly Viper Tour.
Indeed. And joined by one of the custodians of Progress. I've got it right this time. Mr. Lee McAteer. How are you doing, sir? Great to see you again.
I'm very good, Jonas. Thank you as always for having us. Very much appreciated and looking forward to the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as Mike alluded to, we are here today to discuss primarily this here, which is going to be the next chapter show. 139, there we go. Well, crikey, they're flying by these chapters. Warriors Come Out to Play from the Electric Ballroom in Camden, London, this coming Sunday. So 8 amazing matches to discuss, to preview, to hype up. But gentlemen, you've just come off of the first leg, the first 2 shows of the Deadly Viper Tour. A tour like this has not been done, I don't think, in Progress history, and you've already completed show 1 and show 2 from Sheffield and Newcastle. Now, I didn't have the privilege of being there, unfortunately. I'm looking forward to seeing when they drop on demand. But Mr. Angus and Mr. McAteer, what were your kind of recollections from those 2 shows? I think we're going to talk about, is it Sheffield first?
Yeah, we were at Sheffield first for Copperhead. It was chapter 137 last Saturday, and we had an absolutely brilliant time. It was a really warm welcome from the Sheffield crowd. We had a lot of familiar faces in the audience as well, and some special guests who joined us there to visit us at that one. So we had an absolutely wonderful time. The show itself was jam-packed, opening with Sunshine Machine. You can't start a tour any better way than the tag team champs there. Sunshine Machine had a great match against the returning Greedy Souls, and it was great to see Danny Jones and Bronco Brendan White back in a Progress ring, and they showed what a tough team they are. Great to see. Obviously, this show is going to be dropping on the WWE Network, Peacock TV, and obviously Progress On Demand on the 26th of August, I believe. So this Friday night, that show is going to arrive on the network in time for you to watch before Warriors Come to Play. We had some other amazing matches. Dino Mark versus Hayata was another brilliant one. Hayata, great to see him in Progress Ring as well. And, also we had Gene Munny with his first defense ever of the Gene Munny's World Championship that he's earned. There was streamers, there was party poppers, there was a big party as he faced Maggot that night, and it was the first time the belt had not been on the line, but the first time we'd seen the belt. It was unveiled in Sheffield, and in the Steel City, and everyone they couldn't believe that Gene Munny is now his own world champion. So
very prestigious, very prestigious.
Yeah, and a couple of exciting things happened on the show. Well, brilliant show, really enjoyed it. But interestingly, one thing that we saw was a triple threat match between Eliza Alexander, Raven Creed, and Lana Austin, where Lana Austin, under some unscrupulous means, managed to steal a win in that one over Raven Creed. And for Lana Austin, that was the end of any interaction that she's going to be having with Raven Creed, I believe. So, that was an interesting storyline development there for that one. And it was amazing as well to finally get to see Kansuki Takeshita in the UK. He's been brilliant on AEW, as we mentioned in the build-up to the show. And for him to face Leon Slater, unfortunately, Robbie X had to pull out last minute, with a bit of a knock, and it was a shame to see Robbie injured there, but he'll be back very soon, I'm sure. And Leon Slater stepped up into that place, and my God, what a match those guys had. Takeshita is something else, and if you haven't seen that one, that match is one you're definitely going to want to check out when it drops on demand this week. And then I'll let Lee tell you about some of the other news from Sheffield, and possibly the biggest piece of news that we had from Sheffield. I'll let Mr. McAteer take it away.
Well, the big Damo era has begun, and what an incredible match it was in Sheffield. I don't think anybody was expecting it, but now we have a new Progress World Champion, Big Damo, and emotion that came from Damo in the ring, out of the ring. I think I'm still recovering from the amount of pints of Guinness we ended up having afterwards. I think I'm still feeling a bit hazy even now, John, is from being perfectly frank with you. So how he even managed to perform the way he did in Newcastle the next day in an unbelievable triple threat tag match. I mean, it was crazy. But to see such raw emotion from Damo and to see how much that it meant to him, it was a real privilege to be there. And
great occasion.
It was truly wonderful. It really was.
Absolutely.
Well deserved. Brilliant wrestler, Damo, and you know, it was a hard-fought match. You know, I didn't think, I thought Chris Ridgway was going to be holding on to that belt for a long time. But I tell you what, I've never seen somebody, put up such a fight. But as well, he took a bit of a beating from Damo that day. And that the splash that finished him, I'm not sure if Ridgway had picked up some sort of rib injury or something. But it was a hard-fought match, a real battle. And, in the end, Damo managed to out-wrestle the champ. And there you have it, the Guinness did flow in Sheffield and Newcastle as well.
Well, it was. I mean, without giving spoilers away, in the ring in Sheffield, literally everybody was throwing cans of Guinness to Damo. Literally, it was like stone cold big Damo is what it was. He's flowing all over the place. We get to the bar. He's like, let's have a drink or seven. And my word, literally, I wish I had shares in Guinness that night because the black stuff was flowing, and in between that and Takeshita losing his wallet and having his first ever chicken tikka masala, it was one hell of a night, let me tell you.
Well, if you mention Guinness a few more times, they might throw you a sponsorship. You never know. These things tend to happen that way. But but then there was Newcastle on day 2 of the tour. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so exciting to be in Newcastle, and another warm welcome. Obviously, we're at the O2 Academy in Sheffield. I'd like to thank, obviously, all the staff there. They did a great job accommodating us and looking after our fans. A really hot day in Sheffield, and then Newcastle the next day. We were there, and a warm welcome from the team at the Boiler Shop. They looked after us. A little bit different situation than we're used to because it was quite bright in there, so you saw the show in a whole different light, literally. And, we had another great time. Interesting, some of the great matches there. The Greedy Souls managed to pick up a win over the Smoking Aces in an awesome tag team matchup. That's one you definitely want to check out. Really, really good there. Also, we had Kanji facing against Rio on that show, and Laura Di Matteo came out at the end and interjected herself in that one and caused a bit of trouble. So that leads quite nicely onto what's going to be happening at Warriors Come Out to Play. But the rivalry between Kanji and Laura Di Matteo has certainly took a step to the in that direction, and it was some interesting stuff happening there as well. We also had the MPS. The Natural Progression Series qualifier on that show, and the 3 guys who we had on that absolutely showed up and did a great job. Obviously, Shreddy was there causing havoc as always, but Screwface Ahmed and Liam Slater, both great competitors, and that was a brilliant match. You'll have to wait and see what happens in that one to see who's progressed in the Natural Progression Series. And once again, Takeshita on absolute top form in Newcastle. The crowd were going wild for him. There were queues around the building in the interval and at the end of the show to meet Takeshita, to get his autograph, to get a T-shirt. His T-shirt sold out, but it was Allmark versus Takeshita, and what a match that was. It was, one of my favourite matches I've witnessed live in my wrestling time, my career, as you might speak of it. And, Allmark and Takeshita, again, absolute show stealer. And loads more action, which I'll let Mr. McAteer tell you all about as well.
Well, it was. I mean, literally, when I spoke to Dino after the match, and he just said to me, it's very rare for me to be in a ring with somebody that has so much talent like that. And when you've got somebody who's, let's be frank about it, a legend of the game, coming out with comments like that, then you know that you've watched something truly spectacular. And from watching it in the venue itself, I mean, the crowd were totally hooked. They really, really were. And we're very much looking forward to welcoming back potentially later on in the year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that one back. And John, as you said yourself, that you hadn't had a chance to watch it yet. It's going to drop on Saturday at 5 o'clock, I believe. So Saturday the 27th. that will drop on Cottonmouth, and we'll be able to watch that match back. And everyone who was there on the day was raving about it. It was a lot of people have spoke about online since. So just great that we got such a great response from the fans, and some of the reviews have been so kind to us. And you know, the show the guys put on was absolutely amazing. Definitely worth a watch both days. And we can't wait to carry on the tour a little bit later on in the year. So, we've still got Manchester, Cardiff and Birmingham to come on the Deadly Viper Tour. And, you know, if these two shows are anything to go by, anything can happen on the Deadly Viper Tour. Like we said, championship change hands on the first day. You know, who knows who's going to appear, and who knows what could happen on the Deadly Viper Tour.
And if I can just add to that, is that, you know, it goes without saying, but the North matters. And every single show, whether it's in the Ballroom, whether it's in the O2 in Sheffield or Manchester, the Boiler House, or any one of the other amazing venues we work with, anything can happen. And the only way to see it is there live, to get the real idea of what you might witness in person. And, you know, to have someone like Takeshita, who would come off an unbelievable match in AEW with obviously with Claudio formerly of Cesaro. We'd fought John Moxley not long before that for the AEW World Championship. You know, the level of the people that we're bringing on board, I'm incredibly proud of. But also, and dare I say it, I'm even more proud of the people that are on our current roster. And I know there's obviously a lot of talk right now about what's happened, you know, sadly with WWE NXT. And I've been bombarded with a lot of people. But the reality is that I'm incredibly proud of our current roster. And there's going to have to be something truly magical to knock some of those people out of those that are currently on Progress. And that's the reason why we've got an amazing show coming up for Warriors. And I'm really excited about what the future is going to be. And yeah, but I can't take any more Guinness from Damo. Honestly, my liver just can't take it.
And the big Damo era has begun in Progress, and you've covered off the first two shows from the Deadly Viper Tour very, very nicely there, gents. And as you said, night one, Sheffield drops on the 26th, so this coming Friday. Night two, the Newcastle show, drops on the 27th, which is on the Saturday, the very day before Warriors come out to play Chapter 139 from the Electric Ballroom in Camden, London. Let's talk about the 8 matches that have been announced already for Sunday's show. And it's another stacked card. But this match in particular is very, very intriguing. Obviously, Maggot, the son of nothing, has become a Progress fan favourite over the last few months since we first saw him in that Super Strong Style qualifier back in May. And against the returning Eddie Dennis, you mentioned about NXT UK, and of course he was a big favourite on that as the manager of Symbiosis. But it's been a long time in coming for Eddie Dennis to be back in a Progress ring. And this coming Sunday from the Electric Ballroom, it's going to happen. Eddie Dennis versus Maggot. Lee, first of all, I'm going to throw this match over to you. Any thoughts on these two? It's going to be a fantastic encounter, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, it's you know, what's been really positive behind the scenes is that there's been a number of different talent that have been reaching out to myself and other members of the team about wanting to come back on Progress. And Eddie has been desperate to come back to Progress for a long period of time. And this was discussed and arranged well before the unfortunate news that happened with NXT UK. As Eddie said on his social media this week, he's coming home. You know, that's how he sees Progress, and I'm sure he's going to get in a wonderful, warm and raucous applause as he comes out of as he comes through the proverbial curtain. But Maggot is no pushover. Maggot is becoming a crowd favourite. I mean, for those of you that haven't seen him live, Maggot is amazing. We first saw him at WXW and we were like, wow, this guy is incredible. And the whole, his whole entire theme and presence as he comes out. And, this is a really big task for Eddie Dennis on his return because there's so much riding on it. He feels as though he should still be Progress champion from a few years ago. The reality is he isn't. He's got a lot to prove, especially now as he's coming out into, dare I say, a new era. And what better way to prove himself other than the son of nothing Maggot? I'm really excited for this. Absolutely.
Mike, any quick thoughts on that match?
Yeah, exactly. Can't wait for it. I think I've been a huge fan of Maggot ever since he arrived on the scene, and every time he's anywhere, he wins the fans over with his. As soon as he struts out, it's that's it. Everyone's involved, everyone's clapping along, and he dances out, and he might steal Charles Crowley's gear or whatever. You never know what's going to happen next with Maggot, but he's the move set the guy's got, and his technical ability is absolutely brilliant. And to see some of the stuff he does is very different than a lot of wrestlers that I've seen. So it's a really interesting character, and to have him face off against Eddie Dennis in his return is it's a really exciting prospect, because Eddie Dennis is somebody who's synonymous with Progress from the past. He's a Progress OG. He's been there since sort of right near the start, and has been champion in the past. I think his last match was something like 2019 when he had to vacate the belt, and it'd be interesting. It's not going to be an easy match for Eddie Dennis. I think Eddie's thinking he's coming back for a bit of an applause, bit of a showcase match for him to show him what he can still do. That's not going to be the case. He's in big trouble.
I think Eddie's going to have some nerves coming back into that Progress ring.
Literally, these guys that that have not been in Progress for a while, it's a big wake-up call here. First of all, they've been given an opportunity, which not everyone's going to be given, like I said, because I want to be loyal to the people that are currently on there. And secondly, I think Maggot's the favourite for this. And I'll say it.
I agree.
I think Maggot is the favourite. Eddie Dennis back in Progress. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him. He's got a lot of stuff to prove. Maggot has been in there. He's been doing some great things. I tell you, it's going to be interesting.
There we go. Let's talk about this one. A straight jacket match between Raven Creed and Lee's favourite wrestler, Lana Ross.
Ask away. I will happily answer anything. This is going to be absolutely wonderful.
Take it away, Lee. Take it away.
Lana Austin is putting that straight jacket, and she can't say anything. She won't be able to do anything. And Raven finally gets her hands on it on a one-on-one basis. Do you know what? I'm going to be so happy, honestly. I mean, do you know what? I mean, I probably don't, Damo will probably want me to drink more Guinness anyway, but this will give me a better reason, because she may well be the Daily Star's favourite wrestler. She's not my favourite wrestler. And I appreciate this is maybe a bit of a spoiler for a future show, but it looks like Millie McKenzie coming back to Progress is going to maybe become Daily Star's favourite wrestler. You know what? It couldn't happen to a nicer person, Lana Austin. After she tried to push me into a swimming pool, you know what? It's I'd say that's called karma, and the karma is going to be coming, and it's going to be coming to Camden at that ballroom, and I cannot wait to see it. It's going to be absolutely bloody wonderful.
Oh, Mike, how are you feeling about this match? Another fantastic match that demonstrates once again how strong, how stacked the women's roster is in Progress Wrestling.
Well, exactly. Raven Creed has been on a tear through Progress, and she's been waiting to get her hands on Lana Austin for quite a while. Lana has evaded capture on numerous occasions, and only in Sheffield, Lana managed to steal a win off Raven with the help of Eliza Alexander, Lizzie Evo, and that was it. Lana was done with Raven. She said, I never have to face her again. And sort of straight after that, Progress Management stepped in on Twitter and said, actually, you're going to face her again. You've got a straight jacket match against us. That had me cracking up. That was literally...
That's right for trying to put me into that swimming pool. You saw Dereiss's reaction. It says it all.
But that match and that stipulation alone has got to entice you to get tickets. If you haven't already bought your tickets for Chapter 139, Warriors Come Out to Play, the information's running along the ticker at the bottom of the screen. Just go to progresswrestling.com/tickets. It will transport you to the Dice FM app where you can get your tickets for Warriors Come Out to Play and all future Progress Wrestling shows. But this match here is a match that I'm particularly looking forward to. One of my favorites, G Money, with the G Money World Championship, however he's describing it, against Tate Mayfairs. Two of the most fantastic characters in British wrestling, doing some great stuff in Progress, and this is going to be a really great match for all the Progress faithful in the Electric Ballroom on Sunday. But Mike, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, the way someone mentioned it to me was that it's the two most delusional wrestlers in the UK facing each other. Tate Mayfairs, the greatest wrestler ever to walk on planet Earth, and Gene Munny, the world champion of Gene Munny, with the Gene Munny Championship. It's two guys who are absolutely top class, talented athletes, but who are just both so entertaining, in different ways. And Gene Munny has become one of my absolute fan favorites in the UK as just a talented wrestler, but an absolute a genius. And now that he's become a world champion, the universe is his oyster. And Tate Mayfairs as well. Tateness is greatness. He tells everyone every day on Twitter, Tateness is greatness. And you know what, he absolutely is. I was only speaking to him the other day, and he actually mentioned his influences in wrestling as we were out and about, and he said he's learned a lot from watching videos of Eddie Guerrero. He's a huge fan of Eddie Guerrero, and that's if you're going to be great, then Eddie Guerrero is one of the ones to watch. So he's learned from the best, and he's put his own spin on. He's got his own style, and that match, anything could happen in that one with these two guys because they're so creative, and I can't wait to see it. And I don't know if the World Championship of Gene Munny held by Gene Munny is on the line, but I'm sure we'll find out on Sunday.
Got to be there.
Well, here's the thing, guys. You look at the illustrious list of people that happen to have held the Gene Munny World Championship. I mean, let's look at it. It's Gene Munny. Gene's
held it, yeah.
And Gene Munny.
Yeah.
And Gene Munny. So, I mean, literally, it's an illustrious list. But take this as greatness, and the guy is on a roll. My word, I mean, the guy can chat, can Tate. I mean, literally, he talks my ear off every time I see him. And he believes in himself. And you know what? It's a great thing that, if you're positive and you believe in yourself, then anything can happen. And I don't know anybody on the Progress roster that has more confidence and belief in themselves than Tate. And you look at what he's coming out with on social media. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words ever can. The real question, can Tate Mayfairs really now back up those words and show that he is the real deal?
Absolutely.
And whether or not he'll be the Gene Munny Championship winner of Gene Munny, etc., then who knows? But one thing's for sure, these guys like to talk, they've got strong opinions, and anything could happen in this match.
Absolutely. And I know for one, having recently done a 45-minute interview with Tate Mayfairs, that there's only one person that he believes in, that's himself, and he's going to take himself to the very top, and he starts on Sunday against that damn dirty dog G Munny.
Hey, Jonas,
139. Go ahead.
Before we move on, can we just see the graphic one more time?
Absolutely.
Somebody pointed out on Twitter, it looks like they've just seen someone have some sort of skateboard incident just off shot.
I
thought it was Gene doing an impression of Tate for a second there.
I think it's the reaction that they're both going to be like when they see Lana Ross in a straitjacket person.
Getting carted back home.
What the only difference with myself is going to be.
Oh, brilliant. Let's talk about this amazing tag match for the Progress Tag Team World Championships. The current champions, Sunshine Machine, going up against CPF, Danny Black, and Just Joe Lando. Now, this match is going to be wild. Now, as I've said many, many times before on these hype shows, Progress has the best tag team division in the whole of the UK, the whole of Europe, possibly the world. And this match is going to prove that on Sunday from the Electric Ballroom. These two teams are going to be flying all over the ballroom. But Lee, starting with yourself, this is going to be a wild match and possibly could steal the show.
Well, look at what Joe Lando's been up to. Joe Lando has taken it upon himself. He's been on GCW in the States. He's been having some incredible matches, like Nick Wayne and others. And the guy is on fire right now. He really, really is on fire. And not only, he'd already proved he was the real deal on Progress, right? But now he's proving to the world and to the States that he's the real deal. And what better way as the crowning moment of him coming out in terms of being that amazing champion, dare I say it, with his best mate. I mean, this is going to be really, really interesting because the Sunshine Machine, they're on a roll. They seem to be completely unstoppable. And I tell you what's unstoppable is that every time I hear their theme tune, it's in my head for the next 17 hours on a random note. But again, these guys, CPF, they're talking a good game. But look at Damo. Damo really believed in himself before he beat Chris Ridgway for the World Championship, and nobody thought that was going to happen. And you look at Tate Mayfairs talking such a big game. You look at CPF talking a big game. Anything can happen, and you can only see it in live if I be in there. So, as you rightly said, Jonas, I am biased, but I do think we've got the best tag team division. And my word, this is going to be another one that's going to be off the charts. It's going to be, bodies flying all around the ballroom. It's going to be crazy.
Absolutely. Mike, give us your thoughts on this one. This match could steal the show, like so many more of the Progress tag matches in 2022. They've been real barn burners, and this one's going to be no different.
There's been some absolute crackers, Jonathan. All I'm going to say is I'll be contacting air traffic control about 10 minutes before that match just to warn them, because I think we're going to be seeing all sorts of stuff. That shooting star elbow Joe Lando hit in the States just the other day. I've seen it so many times now on Twitter.
Oh, amazing, by the way. That move was absolutely incredible.
What an athlete. And, we've seen Danny Black as well do some absolutely insane maneuvers recently. And, Teeks and Chuck as well, those guys, they go airborne every now and again themselves. We've seen that headbutt TK hits off the apron. That's absolutely insane. And, if one of these guys gets mullered by that, that's going to be, game over for them. So, cannot wait for that one. Another great tag team match, and it'll potentially steal the show as well.
Absolutely. That Progress World Tag Team Championship match is going to be one to watch. You've got to be there. And this one here for the Progress Atlas Championship. Current champion Luke Jacobs going in, defending his title against man like Dereiss, who's been on a tear in 2022 across the UK, and Progress, no less, was involved in the Thunder Bastard match just last month. But these two, we talk about show stealers, Mike. This could be another one, and this is going to be another hard-hitting affair, isn't it?
Well, in the main event, the six-person tag match that we had in Newcastle, these guys came face-to-face in that one. It was Hayata, Luke Jacobs, and the Progress champion, Big Damo, taking on the 0121 Leon Slater, Dan Moloney, and man like Dereiss. And what a battle those guys had. It was a match that went all over the boiler shop in Newcastle. There was people flying about, chairs flying about the place and all sorts, and some absolutely hard-hitting action, but no more so than when Luke Jacobs and man like Dereiss encountered each other. And they also encountered each other in Sheffield, in fact, in a triple threat match there with the Atlas Championship on the line, but also with Dunkzilla and Mark Davis involved in the match with them in a triple threat. So this is going to be the first time that these guys have actually been able to fight one-on-one. And as you said, man like Dereiss has been on such a tear around the UK. Everywhere we go, Dereiss is on fire, rings out around the place. And when he says 0-1, Lee, you say
5-1, because that's what
5-1 in the world this week. Sorry, gang.
But I mean, here's the thing, Jonas, right? Okay, is that if you think about what could end up happening by the end of this show, this could be the start of the reign of the 0121. We're looking at man like Dereiss. I think this is a real, there's a real possibility that man like Dereiss might become the Atlas champ. I appreciate we're going to talk shortly regarding Big Damo versus Driller. And then you look at Leon Slater. I mean, Leon Slater, the boy is already a star. Absolutely no doubt about it. But that match he had in Sheffield, I was there standing with some of the fans, right? And they were looking at me going, this guy is a star. And then somebody else said, a star is born, and obviously we know how good he is. But the 0121 could be the faction to really watch out for the rest of the year, and especially as we go into 2023.
And you can't forget as well, Lee, they've got Jody Fleisch still, who's injured on the sidelines at the moment, but who could reappear at any time. Best wishes to Jody, who's had an injury as well, and he'll be back.
Absolutely. And I just want to bring up one picture, and I think this is possibly from Newcastle, but to demonstrate how hard a hitter Luke Jacobs is. And look at that chop there. And like I say, Leon Slater, his chest must have hurt after that one, but there we go. That's the sort of wallops we're going to be expecting from the Electric Ballroom on Sunday. And then there was this one here. Speaking of wallops, we've got Anthony Ogogo coming back over from the States for the second time, I think. But this time he's going up against another CPF Callum Newman, who's had a terrific 2022, has had some barn burner of matches in progress alongside his teammates. Had a great showing in Super Strong Style 16 in June, but now he's got his opportunity to shine against Anthony Ogogo. Lee, kick us off with this one. What are your thoughts on these two individuals and how this match might go?
Well, outside of John Moxley, Anthony Ogogo is on the best winning streak in AEW. So Callum Newman has got a big task ahead of him. We've seen how Anthony has been in the ring so far with progress. We also saw how he was at TNT Extreme Wrestling. You know, the guy is the real deal. He really is the real deal. But of course, I don't think I'm being disrespectful when I say this, is that he loves being in London. He's a very proud British guy. He's obviously a British hero in terms of
governor
in the Olympics. And he's not so keen on being in the States. He doesn't quite like what our American friends are necessarily all about. So any opportunity he has to come back to progress, he obviously wants to be a part of, and we're very thoughtful, very thankful that he's going to be coming back. And it's a sign of where progress is at. You know, he wants to be on progress. He's got massive ambitions. He wants to be the Progress World Champion. Every time I speak to him, he's telling me that's his aim, that's his ambition. And you know what? It's going to be a really interesting time to see exactly where Anthony's career in Progress and beyond goes to. But as a very proud British promotion, of course, it goes without saying that we're very proud to have such an icon of British sport, and obviously now in wrestling on the show itself. But that's not taking anything away from Callum. I mean, you saw how amazing Callum is, and there's no doubt. I mean, actually, Anthony put on his story that for the next 5 years, Anthony felt as though he is the present of professional wrestling in Britain. He thinks that Callum is the 5 years after him. And of course, that's what he put out on his Instagram story. So that shows you how much Anthony values and feels how good Callum Newman is. Now, I appreciate there's been a bit of back and forth banter between Callum and Anthony and whatnot, but they might not admit it, but there is an underlying respect there between the pair of them. But you know what? I think this is probably Anthony's biggest task so far in Progress. And it's going to be interesting again to see where it all goes, because Callum Newman is going to come out swinging, and we know what he can do in the ring. We've seen it numerous times, and he's going to be a competitor that I don't think Anthony has ever seen before.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a match that's going to take either one of these two's Progress career to that next level, I'm sure. Mike, any quick thoughts on those two and what sort of match we can be expecting on Sunday?
Well, Callum Newman, the Prince of Pace, he's the shooting star of British wrestling. You know, he's such a talent. You know, aerial ability, amazing. Absolutely, you know, decent wrestling ability as well. Great guy. And, you know, Ogogo, you know, we've seen him. He's, you know, put on a show. He's a star, the governor. But he could be in big trouble himself this weekend. You know, Callum has got it in the tank to take Ogogo down. But we'll have to see what happens on Sunday. Looking forward to it for sure.
Absolutely. Let's hope that the governor doesn't underestimate Callum Newman. Otherwise, he could be in for a big shock. But that's going to be a fantastic match on Sunday, as is this one here for the Progress Women's World Championship. Kanji, the reigning defending champion, goes up against Laura Di Matteo once again. Now, I think it was chapter 136 when we saw these two face off in the ballroom the last time. But this match, certainly after kind of the aftermath of their last big ballroom match, could be very interesting indeed. And can Kanji keep her fieriness in order? Will Laura Di Matteo use this opportunity to become the Progress Women's World Champion? Mike, I'm going to start with you this time. A fascinating match, especially after what we've seen previously. Well,
exactly, John. As when we were last at the ballroom, Kanji picked up the win there, but it was a brutal victory at that one. And you know, Laura Di Matteo, wasn't. I don't think she was 100% happy with how that happened, and you know, things got very heated. They had to be separated. Then, you know, as we were on tour as well, things kicked off. It got worse, and then to the point where, you know, Laura now is really gunning for Kanji, and you know, Kanji as well. She's got that fire. She's a fighting champion, and you know, this one is going to be, you know, the emotions have got heated. It's got violence. You know, Rio. ended up falling by the wayside after this one as well. With these guys, just chaos ensued in Newcastle, and I think it's got excitement written all over it. And can Kanji hold on to the women's championship is what we all want to know. Laura, she's been with Progress for 7 years. She feels now is her time. She feels her opportunities getting stolen by Kanji, who's been dealt this lucky hand that she shouldn't have been given. So we will find out on Sunday if she can do it, and it's going to be a good chance.
Yeah, and Lee, my question to you is that, we've known Kanji for a couple of years now inside a Progress ring, and I think, one of her biggest asset has been her kind of her fieriness and the way that she kind of really gets herself hyped up for these matches and how she performs in the ring. But that kind of was to her detriment in the ballroom the last time we saw these two in a match. Do you think that could be the deciding factor when these two go face-to-face for the championship again on Sunday?
I think Kanji's going through a crisis of wondering what it is that she needs to do. And we all know that in terms of how she's been, is that she's very much a good person, wants to do the right thing. But we've seen little elements of frustration that have boiled over to the point that you would argue that kind of slight crisis mentally and internally is making her think what she needs to do to try and ensure that she stays the Progress Women's Champion. And as Mike said, Laura is really confident and she's wanting to do whatever she can in order to try and become Progress Women's Champion. And obviously this has been building up and built up even more so over Sheffield, over Newcastle, and now it's really going to come to a head in the ballroom on Sunday.
Absolutely. That's going to be a fascinating match and a fantastic story behind all of this and a great build, and definitely one that I'm certainly looking forward to. And then to cap things off, Big Damo, the man behind the era of Big Damo, of the Progress World Championship against Dan Moloney. This is going to be a fantastic match. And like I say, two of the best in the world right now with the way they're performing. But the Damo era has begun, and Dan Moloney is the first man to possibly overcome the big man. But that's going to be a fascinating encounter for the World Championship, and like I say, one to watch for sure. Lee, your thoughts on that one?
Well, you've got the TNT Extreme Wrestling Champion going up against the Progress Men's Champion, and I don't think anyone's quite realised that at this particular point in time. I mean, we talk about confidence. Moloney is confident. He's really confident. And after seeing what was quite honestly one of the most insane suplexes on Big Damo up in Newcastle.
Yeet.
I mean, my word. I mean, when it comes to actual strength, I mean, we all know Moloney's strength, it's got huge amounts of strength, but this was on a whole different level in terms of what we've seen. It was literally like a deadlift suplex on Big Damo. And the crowd were just watching going, this is crazy. Moloney thinks it's his time. He's been champion, obviously, in TNT for a while. And he's got, he wants this. He wants to be that double champ. And you know what? Who am I to rule against it? We've seen what can happen in Sheffield. Now, obviously, Damo is a fighting champion. First of all, I mean, I don't think we can I think we've got to mention this, is that Damo's actually defending the Progress World Championship in Chicago the day before. So wow. we're obviously presuming that Damo, and that's no pushover for Damo, may I add. Damo's obviously got to win that, and then he's coming straight from Chicago to London. I mean, he said he was a fighting champion. I know he's had a few more Guinness after Manchester United finally showed up for the first time in about 4 years. So there's a lot going on, a hell of a lot going on. But, Moloney is determined. And who knows, by that particular point, Dereiss might be the Atlas champ. If Moloney becomes the champ. And bear in mind, we're obviously going from a TNT perspective, TNT and GCW and everything that's happening there. We know that a man like Dereiss is taking on Matt Cardona. Well, all of a sudden, who knows what's going to be happening? But this British scene is about to go absolutely popping. And there's only one way to see it all, and that's to be there live in the ballroom in Camden on Sunday, because my word, things are going down and I'm so excited for it.
Absolutely. And progress.com/tickets is where you get your tickets for Sunday's show. But Mike, that World Championship match is worth the price of admission alone, as they say. And without any sort of exaggeration at all, those two men are going to put on a display on Sunday for that world title.
That's true. I've seen Dan Moloney wrestle so much over the course of the last year, and what an impressive talent he is, and absolute legend. But Damo, what a hero Damo is. These are two absolutely guys who are at the top of their game. They are superstars, and Damo. The 0121, all three guys from the 0121 earned Damo's respect when we were in Newcastle in that six-person tag. And the 0121 had the opportunity for one of them to take him on. And it's Dan who's answered the call on this occasion. And, Moloney is, he is a diamond. And this is going to be a huge threat to Damo's championship. I think Damo needs to be absolutely on his A game if he is going to take on the Driller, because Dan is somebody who is just such a great wrestler, and someone who's so passionate about wrestling. He speaks about how he was influenced when he was younger by Batista, and the work this guy puts in the gym that you don't see. You see him in the ring, and he's a big guy, but the work this guy puts in the gym, and constantly athletic training and everything. It doesn't surprise me that even with the size of Big Damo and the weight advantage, that Dan managed to fling him across the ring and yeet him in Newcastle, because I tell you what, Dan has worked so hard, and this could be his time, and it could be time for the 0121 to ascend to the top of Progress. And
I've got somebody calling me that I'm going to have to take this call. So, Jonas, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is going to be interesting. Cheers, guys.
Speak to you soon.
You never know who Lee's going to have on the phone, honestly.
There we go. I'm very intrigued. But
could be your next big surprise, Jonas, on the show.
Who knows? That could implicate Sunday's proceedings. But we've spoken about 8 fantastic matches there we have to look forward to on August the 28th from the Electric Ballroom, Camden, London. The Electric Ballroom, of course, the spiritual home of Progress. And like I say, it's going to be literally electric when those 8 matches are in front of our very eyes on Sunday. But a fantastic card. And then another card to look forward to that we're going to briefly look at now is the following Sunday, the day after WWE's Clash at the Castle. Progress will be in town, of course. But one match that has been announced is Dean Allmark, Progress favourites, going up against another UK legend, you could say, one of the best wrestlers in the UK, going up against Dean Allmark, because he knows all the holds in the book at the Tram Shed Wrestling Golf Madrid, in that order. These two, Mike, are going to put on an absolute clinic, aren't they? And that's a match that I'm very much looking forward to. Mike Bird in a Progress ring as well.
Yeah, I believe Bird's had a few previous Progress matches, but a Welsh veteran, a trainer himself, and obviously Allmark, been training people for years, and these two are both technically sound, technically proficient, two of the best on the planet, technical wise. And the matches Dean Allmark has had over the last couple of matches I've seen him have at Progress have been some of the best wrestling matches that I've ever seen. So for these two to be facing each other, and for Mike Bird to be making his return to Progress, and for it to be in Wales as well, for right near his hometown.
Wow!
This is going to be great stuff for him and great stuff for the fans. People are going to love this one, and it's going to be so exciting to be to be there in Cardiff for the Clash of the Castle weekend. We've got Progress in the daytime, and then TNT Extreme Wrestling in the evening as well. And I believe the Progress show at Cardiff has completely sold out. There was a massive waiting list for that show, and I think there's only a few tickets left now for the TNT show as well for in the evening.
That's
so
nice.
Yeah, and you never know what could happen with both those promotions being in the city at the same time. Anything could happen, and there's not just those guys there. There's I believe WWE might be in town the day before. I've heard little rumors of ICW doing something there, so you just never know who it could be about, and it's going to be an exciting weekend in Wales. Cannot wait to be there as well.
But the wrestling world, they're going to congregate in Wales, Cardiff, Wales, that weekend. Absolutely, but like I say, some of the talent that have been announced for Chapter 140, Wrestling Golf Madrid in that order, and this match here, Dino Mark versus Mike Bird, and I'm sure many more matches will be announced in the coming days. Just keep your eyes peeled to Progress Wrestling social media, and I'm sure by the time this drops, there probably would have been another match or two announced. But we're going to do a separate hype show for Chapter 140 in a few days' time to get you all ready for that show in Cardiff. But Mike, we've spoken about the 8 matches that's going to be taking place at Warriors Come Out to Play, Chapter 139, from the Spiritual Home, the Electric Ballroom in Camden, this coming Sunday, August the 28th. Just give us one final pitch, one final sale on why, if you haven't already got a ticket, people should be going to progresswrestling.com/tickets and getting their tickets today, Mike.
Oh, guys, it's Warriors Come Out to Play. You know, August 28th, Sunday, we're going to be there. It's going to be amazing. We've got the return of Eddie Dennis. You know, you've got Maggot's going to be in the house. They've got the first ever Progress straight jacket match.
Yes.
You know, Gene Munny defending the Gene Munny World Championship of Gene Munny against Tate Mayfairs. Sunshine Machine are in action. You've got the return of Joe Lando from the States, and Danny Black's going to be there with him. We've got Luke Jacobs taking on man like Dereiss. It's that's a banger in itself. You know, it's just going to be such a show. The return of Anthony Ogogo as well. Callum Newman taking him on. That's going to be a big challenge for Callum. But I know he's got a heart in him. He can do it, you know. And we'll have to see. The governor could be in trouble. And can Kanji retain that women's championship? There's just so much going on. And once again, big Damo, Dan Moloney. That is going to be, you know, an absolute battle. And I cannot wait. So excited for Sunday. And then the week after, we're in Cardiff as well. So there's so much to come from Progress Wrestling. And we just hope you'll all be there to join us in the ballroom. And as always, Johners, it's an honor to join you, my friend. And thank you so much for talking through the show with us today. We're looking forward to seeing you there. And don't forget, everybody, to check out Copperhead and Cottonmouth when they drop on demand this week on Friday and Saturday, due to drop at 5 o'clock. And that's on the WWE Network and Peacock as well. So check those out. And we can't wait to see you soon at a Progress show.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to be in the ballroom on Sunday. Mike's going to be in the ballroom Sunday. Make sure you're there as well. progresswrestling.com/tickets to get yours today. Don't be that guy, as SoCal Val would say. Make sure that you don't miss out on that show or any future Progress shows. But Mike, it's been a pleasure, and catch you soon, my friend.
Thank you so much, John. I'll see you soon. I've been the Mad Dog, Mike Angus. See you soon, everybody. And thanks to Lee.
Cheers, Lee.